This is Robert Little with BlackSportsOnline.com with the host of the Pivot podcast out here in Hollywood Hills. You can see the whole city in the background. It's a little foggy today, but we're at the Rams house where you guys are shooting a couple of shows. But before I get into that, let me introduce, everybody knows who you are. We got Shannon Crowder here, the man that always goes viral and get the people going. You know, we got what I like to call the minister. Ryan Clark, you know, always who brought the boom on the field, but brings the message, you know, on the podcast. And then the OG, triple OG, deep voice, Luther Vandross, Fred Taylor over here. When Fred talks, the whole room gets quiet. But you know, giving a lot of stuff for these young kids out here understanding. Fellas, just let me know. You guys have done different shows before. How did you guys come together? And just tell me about the incredible chemistry that I just got to see live in there between you all.
I like to say we were poached.
Here you go. They were not.
I'm messing around. No, I'm messing around. No, it was just a situation where you know, Shannon and I, we had a conversation, and we said, you know, hey, we can do this. We can do this on our own. And I had a few conversations, you know, with RC right here, which was just a huge blessing in disguise for us, man, because RC, what he brings to the table, obviously, you know what he does in his day job. And in his second job, I think he does that a tad bit better. But, man, it's just amazing for us, really, to be able to work with him and make this pivot. So we here. At the end of the day, it don't matter how we got here, we here. And we gonna be here for a minute.
It's crazy is that we knew, you know, saying me and Freddie been cool for 20, you know, saying no RC for 10 plus. And then once we had to pivot, then just from Pot to C Hamp to Troy Polamalu to all the guys, you know, Joey Porter, Peasy, and my man, and everybody talked so glowingly about Ryan. And so then that was our first guy, and then we were like, we hit Ryan up. We talked for an hour one night. I'm on the back porch. He chilling in Louisiana. I'm down in Florida, and we just talked. Said, man, let's do something. Let's do something special, and that's what it was. And we all know the focus, man, trying to give people education, free game, whatever you want to call it. But we knew that this platform is needed for our people, needed for our culture, and so that's why we did it. And we all did, and it's a good time, man. We like a traveling band. We have a good time.
Well, let me tell you guys something. I saw a couple of your episodes, and then, you know, I see people really react to it. And I said to myself, and I told some people, I said, this is what we need, because we don't have conversations no more. People just are acting out at each other. We just attacking each other. We don't have good conversations. We don't have fun conversations. We don't have the conversations where you say out loud kind of what you're thinking. And when you guys talk about the culture and bringing that back, I know, Ryan, you talked about you wanted to make this a place where athletes can come on and feel like they can tell their story unfiltered, without, you know, any restrictions and stuff. How important is that for you guys that you come across authentic, like you're who you are, who you say you are, and this is not, for lack of a better term, this is not hot taking. This is just talking.
I think the cool part is we're not necessarily giving takes. You know, we don't have a script. And if anybody knows how media or network TV works, like, you have a rundown, and you might not be told what to say, but you know exactly what the conversation is going to be. When we sit down, we don't know where the conversation is going, and we have to be able, I guess for lack of a better word, to pivot in the direction that it is. But that brings out authenticity. You know, when you're sitting with Michael Beasley and it's this big 6'10" dude with tattoos everywhere and he's crying, like, if you don't actually feel him, if you can't actually empathize with him, then you can't do that show. You know, in the same way when you sit down with Shaq or Charles Barkley, or you could flip that and be with Dana White, who for most people is not a part of our culture, but we felt had a story to tell, and we wanted to let him tell it in the ways we would ask questions. And I think that's what it's been about for us. And you know, to be honest too, Rob, we still learning, man. Like we do have great chemistry, but you know, we're still learning how to do this. We're still learning who we're going to be. And I don't necessarily believe that the us you see today will be the us you see in 3 years, but I know 3 years from now we'll be better than we are.
And you know, Channing, someone wanted me to ask you this. Like, how do you feel Look, it happens to all of us. We all get put on the Summer Jam screen for something. You know, if you're on social media long enough, if you're in the business long enough, if you're an athlete for long enough, something happens and it's going to get some criticism and it's going to get a lot of backlash. And people these days, they're like detectives. They go digging, they go looking, they go try to find everything about you. How did you maybe deal with that? Because you're an outspoken guy, and when that comes back and people are saying things about you that maybe they're not, so nice, being in that spotlight now, being that person that now people know who he is, and we gonna have something to say back to you.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? And is it kind of you give it, you got to take it?
Yeah, that's what it is. You give it, you got to take it. And this show, what we're doing now, the subscribers went up, the followers went up, and all that. So when you say something, people want to argue with you. But my old soul part of it is that I really don't give 7 shits about anybody's opinion. And that's the way I get over it. So whenever
just 7, right?
I was gonna go 6, but 7 is the number of completion. So I don't give 7 shits about anybody's opinion of me, because if you're evaluating me, I can't evaluate you. But you care about my opinion. I don't care about yours. And that's the thing I look at. So I get DMs all the time. Even today, I'm gonna get some nasty DMs. I'm gonna get all that stuff. Those people, in my mind, I transfer it to, that's the 40-year-old dude living in his mom's basement with nothing going on in his life. And that's how I look at it. So social media, I always call it, you have to put a value on your evaluators. So if you're gonna evaluate me, I need to evaluate you. And I'm gonna minimize you, because I've never cared about your opinion. You care about mine. And there's a reason behind that. So yeah, I really don't care what anybody thinks about me. And that's how I can live the way I live and do what I do, because I really don't care what people
think. And I think I know it's his question. That's actually true for him. I think a lot of people in the world say that with the intention of believing that, but I've been around him, and he does believe that. I think he feels like if you're not a part of his circle, if you're someone who doesn't value him in the way where you want to see him win, then your opinion shouldn't matter. And I think that's what I admire about both of these men the most, is that like he's authentically him every time I'm around him. Fred is the same way. And so you don't ever have to guess around these dudes. Like I don't have to guess who he's gonna be from day to day. I say the same with him. And I think that's why what we do works. I think that's why what we do resonates with people, is because kind of what you said, like, you made the joke about Freddie's voice and the room gets quiet, but it's true. The room does get quiet because we know when he says something, it's going to be well thought out, it's going to be poignant, it's going to be information, and he does that every time. And Channing, what's crazy to me is like he's extremely intelligent, and people miss it because of his personality. And then when we finally do a show where we don't get to joking like that, and like, oh, this is the best he's ever been. No, he's been great on everything, because he's always been him. And so I think that's been the cool part of what seems like 5 years, but it's only been 5 months.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me out. This is a big deal for me, being able to speak to you guys in person. I love your show. I love what you bring to the game. I love what you bring to the culture. I think it's authentic. I think that's why people connect to it. And like you said, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, you're always going to have BSO support. So thank you guys. So I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.